Social media. What lens do you look through? Today on the Landlord Coach Daily Is show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Landlord Coach Daily Is show. My name is Mark Dolfini, your host and landlord coach and host of the Landlord Coach Daily Is show. It is really good to see you today. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you had an amazing Easter weekend. It was a fantastic one. It was absolutely perfect day yesterday. So I hope yours was spent with family and friends, and it was everything that you'd imagine. We had a great day. So today we're going to be talking about social media. What lens do you look through? Now you might be thinking, oh, what in the world is he talking about? Well, I'm going to go ahead and just let you know in advance, this isn't going to be a whole lot about real estate, but it is important because a lot of people who come and watch this show who are in real estate use social media. So I think it's going to be kind of important that you look through the proper lens when you're using social media. So I think it's a fair question because we all have different reasons for using social media, right? Let's just face it, Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn or whatever. But we look through different lenses when we decide to click on the blue F or the black T or whatever on our phones or whatever platform happens to be your vice. Yes, the black T is TikTok for those of you. Well, it's actually a white T on a black. You get it what I'm saying. Anyway, in my own case, I realized I have to be really careful of the lens that I'm looking through when I show up on social media. For example, there are times when I show up looking through the lens of entertainment. And I have to be honest, there were times when I was just bored with my current state of reality and I was looking to escape to someone else's reality for a while. Now, I'd get lost in several minutes of a comedian talking about Manhattan traffic, which I can barely relate to because I haven't driven in Manhattan for over 10 years. I'm talking Manhattan, New York, not Manhattan, Kansas, in case you were wondering. But then I look up and somehow 45 minutes have evaporated from my world before I even realized it. Has any of this happened to you? Go ahead and put up your hands and I'll count you all because I know I'm not the only one. But maybe I am the only one. I'm sure it happens. It doesn't happen to anybody else. But that's the danger of social media, right? So there's other times I would show up looking through the lens of excitement. And again, maybe I was bored and looking to escape my reality or somehow make my life more exciting. And I'd noticed I'd reach out to people just to say hello on Facebook Messenger, which I wouldn't necessarily by itself as a bad thing because I'm an incredibly social person and relationships are important to me. But it can become incredibly distracting and take away from the pursuit of my vision if I'm not careful. In other words, nowhere in my vision does it say spend several hours on Facebook chatting with people, especially people I don't know, right? And you know why it's not there? Because there are more important things on my vision. We'll come back to that. But there were other ways that I was seeking excitement, and I'd love to say they were all things that I was proud of, but yeah, not so much. Sometimes it was to bitch and complain about something disguised as venting, even though airing my grievances to the world did very little to accomplish that. But it would have been, I mean, I feel like I would have been about as maybe as productive as yelling into an empty well. But again, I get it. I understand, I had that, for whatever reason, I felt like I had to do that. But it caused me to really face the facts. And sometimes I was out to create drama in my world, even though I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a highly dramatic person, but that's exactly what I was creating. So, I would stop on a thread and make a big long argument that did nothing to change anyone's perspective, but instead, and often, would only fan the flames of of somebody that was a burning fire pit of emotion to start with. Most notably with other people doing the same mental ambulance chasing that I was doing. I don't know. I can't say that I'm one of those people that looks for ways to be offended, but in the context of looking for excitement, I'll be honest, sometimes that's exactly how I showed up. The mental ambulance chasing that I was doing was incredibly addictive, and as I continued down the scroll hole from one post to the next until something again triggered me and I would insert myself into the conversation and invest a lot more time and energy than anything else I'd done that day. And rarely, if ever, did it get me 1 inch closer to living my vision. So, what's the lens you look through when you're logging into social media? Is it for excitement and entertainment so you can escape reality? Is it to fulfill a need to be heard that maybe you're not getting otherwise? Maybe it's a need to feel significant by tearing someone else down or showing the world how smart or how clever you are. I don't know. Again, but for me, all of those things at different times were true. I have to admit, it wasn't some of my finest hours. I think this is one of the reasons, though, why people hate social media. And I know it's one of the reasons that I do. I see a lot of people blaming social media for a lot of things, and at times, I'm among them. The way I see it, though, social media hasn't changed human behavior. It's only magnified our perceptions of it. And it's magnified by the lens you choose to look through. So follow me here for just a second. Is it possible, if you choose to be easily offended, and I think being offended is a choice, but is it possible that you choose to be easily offended by things in your normal daily life? If that was true for you, then social media would be the best place to go when you feel the need to be offended by something. It seems to be the perfect avenue for that, right? You might say, well, hold on, coach. I'm not normally offended in my day-to-day life, but only when I go on social media. All right, well, I'd ask, what's your normal day like then? Is your social media account a good representation of what your life is like day to day? I know mine isn't. For me, my social media accounts are a giant mixing bowl of people from all different backgrounds. That's why every single time when I get someone who sends me a friend request, I always reach out to them on Messenger and say, who are you basically? But if I don't hear back from them, off they go. Well, why is that? Well, for me, I'd like to know first and foremost that I'm connecting to a real person. And second, assuming they're a real person, I'd like to have some sort of context as to why they wanted to connect with me. I'm a real estate guy. I'm a coach. I'm an author. I'm a dad, a husband. I'm a follower of Christ. I'm a Marine vet. I'm a smoker, a joker, midnight toker, and sure don't want to hurt no one. I make jokes. But seriously, what is the lens you look through when you go on social media? Maybe you go to learn or to teach or to preach or whatever. Maybe to convey an attitude of gratitude. Maybe to inspire thought or maybe a thoughtful dialogue. Maybe you're there to laugh and share in laughter or to publicly grieve and maybe help take away the sting of a loss. I felt compelled to do this segment today because while I'm all about time wealth, and while I'm not a purist in the full sense of talking only about rental properties and that sort of stuff, I am interested in having, in sharing this among all communities and interests because I really think that that's a message that needs to be shared. That's a message that needs to be heard among all communities and all interests. And I think the lens we use to show up in social media magnifies and distorts humanity based on the lens that we use, right? I know it does for me. And again, maybe I'm just making assumptions here. But as a result, if I show up with a lens looking for truth, my reality can be distorted to accept opinions as facts. If I show up with a lens looking to be offended, my reality in that case can be distorted to accept one person's ideas as a personal verbal assault on me, and then I declare them publicly to be ignorant. On and on. So I guess my hope is more often to show up with a lens of gratitude. One where I can show up with that's both teaching and learning, where I can share my gifts and take in the gifts of other people. For example, when I wrote my book, my book was quickly confused as a time management book for landlords. With a name like The Time Wealthy Investor, I suppose that's a logical conclusion. But the fact is, I'm not about time management. I don't believe it's possible to take time, shove 20 units of time into a box, mold it, and fashion it into something else that I want. What is possible isn't time management, but energy management. And when I'm the most effective, when I'm the most impactful, when I'm making the biggest difference, is when I'm focused, not, it is really when I'm focused on one thing, being super present and in the moment on one task. And instead of using social media to kill time, I'm more interested in rediscovering it. And this is the thought that keeps me focused on the lens that I look through, which is fulfillment. So earlier, I mentioned about what's in my vision. But what's more important is what's not in my vision, is spending countless hours deep inside the time vacuum of social media. What I am interested in is relationships and teaching and coaching and learning and gratitude for everything that I have. So which lens we use when we show up in social media is incredibly important. If you showed up with the lens which allows you to focus on being offended, I'm sure I accomplished that for you today. If you showed up with a lens which allows you to focus on learning, perhaps I accomplished that today too. I suppose that's up to you. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful, and that's all I have for today. So if you are interested in a copy of The Time Wealthy Investor, you can head over to landlordcoach.com/videos. And otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Please be sure to place a value on your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. But most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys next time.